You're not going to be a good therapist. You're not going to want to tell them the truth because you're going to want them to continue to like you and get that ego feed. All right, you've made it to the Jed Said Therapy channel, where a little awareness goes a long way. My name's Jed Thorpe, licensed therapist. Now, this is going to be a video more geared towards therapists, counselors, mental health providers. You'll probably be interested in this, even if you're not that, because if you ever do go to therapy, we're going to talk about 3 things that probably don't do. And it's not like if you do them, it's a, one strike, you're out kind of thing. But when it happens in my room, in sessions with me, I'll now just do a mental note. Okay, this is what's happening there. So the first mental note topic that we're going to talk about is with a new client that comes in. A little context here. You're going to do some intake information that involves getting their therapy background. Have you gone to therapy before? What issues have you worked on in the past? When the new client starts talking crap about their old therapist, I do take a mental note. Because when they're talking bad about their past therapist, they're probably going to talk the same way about you with their future therapist. And that's okay. Remember, odds are I'm going to say a lot of similar things that other therapists in the past have talked with them about. It's about them being in a more appropriate time in their lives to hear what therapy is being given. So yeah, there's that. That's number 1. The next one, this one is called, I call it ingratiation factor. When they're using flattery initially, right on the onset of when you're meeting with them, you have to make another mental note here. The quotes that I hear the most, or the phrases that I hear the most, are, I've never been able to talk with another therapist like I talk with you. Or, wow, I can't believe other therapists haven't told me this yet. We haven't talked about this. Oh, I can't believe that this other therapist or nobody's ever put it in a way that you've put it that helped me understand so well. If it's going to be flattery, just remember that's not accurate. They're just manipulating you, and that's okay. People come in here with bad behaviors all the time, and that's part of the reason why they're here. This is a fun one because when you round back on this, and when you do some good therapy and reflect this behavior with them, after you have the rapport and you have a good relationship, you can say something like, you're doing that thing again where you are flattering me. This must have really worked in the past because you are so good at doing this. And they'll get defensive at first. I am genuine. I really do like that shirt, or I really do think you're the best. Okay, that's cool. Just be curious as to how much you do that in order to get people to like you, because that's the pitfall here. If you fall for this as a new therapist or a counselor, you're not going to be effective with this client. You just won't. You're going to like them too much. You're like, hey, this person, I can't wait for this person to come in. This is one of my favorite clients. You are not in, that's not good. That's just not a good sign. You're not going to be a good therapist. You're not going to want to tell them the truth because you're going to want them to continue to like you and get that ego feed. So that's number 2. So anyway, number 3, without further stalling, this is more directed for couples counseling and marriage counseling. And man, I haven't fallen for this one, but I've talked to a lot of therapists who have fallen for this one, and it is not a good one to fall into. Here's the context of marriage counseling. When they come in, you have an initial, intake session with both of them. You get into some of the stuff. They start to see if they like you and if it's a good connection. And then, you'll maybe do some homework around communication and around boundaries of what's appropriate to talk about in the week that they're gone. So, they can have some safeguards. And then what I like to do anyway is have them come again as a couple, and then we'll get a little more into some deep issues and some more sensitive emotional topics, and we'll help regulate that because people have a hard time being mean or abusive towards the other person when there's a third party around, somebody that can help them to steer into the more socially appropriate lanes of communication. So that's the second session. You're still together. Here's the little secret that no one talks about is couples counseling is really just individual counseling with someone else in the room besides me, right? So they're doing a lot of individual work, and sometimes they're not comfortable being vulnerable around their partner because, they have issues of being hurt and feeling betrayed or whatever it is, or not heard anyway. So why would anybody talk about vulnerable stuff, which is why we like to have them come in individually. And then after that third individual session, when in the couples setting, then I'll have them come back as a couple, we'll talk, and then I'll have the other one come in as an individual, and then we'll continue to work with that rotation. Now, what happens is that people are so good at using secrets as a way to manipulate a relationship that they'll utilize a big secret and they'll catch you in this trap by saying, oh, you can't tell my partner that though. You can't tell them that. Oh, right then and there, you're screwed, right? You're now in a verbal contract basically with one of them. And because of that, when you do have the couple session again, the other one innately, intuitively is just going to feel like something is off. They're just going to feel like, I don't know if I trust this environment because, well, they shouldn't, because you are keeping a secret with their partner from them. So here's how to help boundary that pitfall up or cover that up so you don't fall into it. In your first initial session with the couple, identify what is and isn't appropriate to talk about with you in their individual sessions. Every therapist is going to be different on this, by the way. They're going to have their own lines of what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. For me, if it's any secrets around affairs or relationships, emotional or physical, that's not going to be kept by me. I'm not going to sign off on that. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. The other big secret that I don't keep is if there's just a whole lot of financial issues that they come to me about and they don't want the partner to know about. I'm not going to keep that secret either. I'm not going to do it. So that's worked out pretty well for me, having that boundary in place prior to, the individual couples session. Couples counseling is a lot more difficult than individual counseling because you have to navigate a whole lot more, and there's so much emotion involved that you have to, as the counselor, hear me, you have to, as a counselor, be able to manage that, because otherwise it'll just steamroll the whole session, and they're there for you because they need you to help control their communication. So it's okay, therapists, counselors, mental health providers, it's okay in that role to control this communication, what is and isn't appropriate. So that is the 3 pitfalls that a lot of new therapists, or old therapists for that matter, will make with new clients, by the way. So I thought that would be interesting. Did you like that? If you did, be sure to subscribe. I'm not a marketing guru. I don't pay for subs or anything like that or followers. So any traction that this good information gets is because you put thumbs up, is because you share the video, is because you subscribe, is because you comment. So I just want to let you know I appreciate that. This is good information. If you like it, there's also another way to look at it. I'm on social media everywhere at JedSaidTherapy, and my website is www.meaningtolive.com. And until next time, awareness up.